Felicitations, my family of fledglings. Ghosts, so good to unsee you. Hi, and welcome. I'm Damien Holme, and you know why you're here. You're here to get your brain reprogrammed, charge new thoughts, change your perspective on everything, challenge other people as well. And maybe have a game or two running in the background while we do it all. Yes, that is what we do here. And on Saturdays, in an increasing trend with this stream, we're wearing robes. It's Robe Saturday. Robe Ratterday. That sounds like something Scooby would say. Hey, how's it going? How are you guys doing? I've had a long, tiring day. That all started when I really tried to go to sleep early after last night's stream. It did not happen. I got woken up early, and from there, it's been a long day. So tonight, we're going to hop back into Myst 4, which we started last stream, and now we have learned some of the ropes of Tomana, but we've already decided to go into a sub-age from here, and we're visiting the age in which Atris's son, Sirrus, was locked away. And his younger daughter has apparently been connecting with her big brother, but we find that a little bit scary because he was the big brother was kind of weird and maybe demented a little bit. Hard to say. There's a lot to unpack here, and we're going to unpack it and try to find out, learn what's still going on. Was Sirrus really as messed up as he seemed? Could he learn to do better if he was messed up? Was his father actually the bad guy all along, which is my pet fan theory that hasn't been disproven in the games just yet? My own pet theory is Atris is the bad guy all along. Or at least the worst of them, like good intentions, but I'd say good. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah, it is a little too warm in here for me to be comfy in this robe. I'm gonna go turn on the fan and make it a little bit cooler so that I can be fuzzy and not die in sweltering heat right now. Hello, first champion.
You're my dad. Wookie, wookie, wookie.
Gotta bed down because I want it all. Bed down as in you were down in bed. Guess who you left passed out in Little's bed? You were reading a story together, or at least that's where I thought I left you. You had your phone light on, and Zoe was reading, and you were holding your phone up. She was reading to me. Yeah. I thought it was a participant action. Your pose was strikingly similar to you two having a really connective and sweet time, and now I feel a little bit sad for Zoe because for the little because yeah, she ready to be light was leaning against the wall. I was passed out. I'm gonna turn on the fan. I'm a little bit warm. I'll be right back. Aw, she knew I wasn't feeling good and that I was exhausted. Well, that's very sweet. So she's like reading you a story, trying to get you all feel goody and everything. We have good beans sometimes. Sometimes I feel like they're going to be good citizens. I have hope for our future. We'll see. Okay, let's switch one over. Please come up. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay. We already know we can't fix the letterboxing and my name hovering over the side. Like, there's so many things I want to, like, change on the scene, and we got to live with it the way it is. Yeah. Yep, she's the one who kicked me out of her bed. Oh, because it was time for for you to go to your bed. That is precious and sad. She's like, all right, you've stayed, you're welcome. And closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't sleep here. Well, very sweet. Okay, what are we doing? Which one of these is load game? They have all these like funny icons. How are you even supposed to tell what they all are? All right, let me get out of this menu system because oof. She said down. I think that was the last one we did. Go back to main menu, delete this game file, load this game file. Every icon here needs a help menu thing on the side. Just so we know like what the heck button we're pressing. Yep, she's the one who... Oh, I already read that one. That's so sweet. Okay. So, we're in Spire. We've done just a wee bit of traveling. What we've learned... Oh, for those of you who are like joining late, I guess. How far back do I want to explain this before we know like just what the heck are we doing on this frozen far high up? Was it frozen or maybe it's just all crystals? Maybe it's not. Well, it's cold. It's cold up here. Yeah, needless to say, we know it's cold. How far back do we need to go? Mist games are about a man named Atris who can write worlds into existence in books with like a special writing magic that he has. He has two sons. He tried to teach them his ways. He felt like they went awry. Both of the boys turned kind of dark, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are doing like wrong. Something went wrong with your upbringing," and he went ahead and imprisoned them in books. And then he and his wife had some other turmoil. Apparently, Atris's dad is also a bad being, so they had to do something with that guy. And then Atris also had like written some people into existence that were also bad beings, and he had to do something about them. There's a lot of bad beings around Atris, which makes me nervous about Atris. You ever read an AITA thread on Reddit? I feel like Atris is prime candidate for that kind of thing. Like everybody around him is the bad guy and not him? Huh. Makes you wonder. So by Myst 4, which we are in now, 4 games deep into this franchise, we're just now going into those prison books that he used for his sons to try to figure out what's going on. His much younger daughter, who came years after his sons had kind of become young men, his daughter has relationship, some sort of connectivity with her brothers that to Atris's eye possibly means maybe there's something dangerous because he doesn't trust his sons. He imprisoned them. So the fact that she gets along with them could be a sign of they're actually not that bad. It could be a sign of they're corrupting and misleading her to get on their side instead of their dad's side. There's a whole lot going on, you know? Hello? Well, hello. Cosmic. I'm not going to do the double letter thing. Cosmic Deity, thank you so much. Thanks for joining in. We're just recapping kind of what brought us here to this place. This is a prison book. This is one of Atris's books that he wrote. And this is my first time playing through all these games, by the way. So if I get any of the details wrong, or I say something like slightly off to the actual how did this go, please feel free to jump in and correct me. But keep the spoilers to yourself. Yeah. So we're here in these books. We're either going to learn that Atris's daughter is onto something, and maybe the brothers were wrongfully imprisoned and should have been given some sort of rehabilitation or something like that. I don't know. Or, maybe Atris is right and he imprisoned them for a reason, and now we're on a mission to save his impressionable daughter from her brother's influence, that maybe she will turn out like them or something like that. In Atris's prison, which was at the top of Spire, he broke out. I don't want to climb all the way back up there. I'll just let you know. he broke out of it. That's probably not great. I'm not sure. It makes me nervous. It does. Is this control? It looks like the control. Also, I think we loaded facing this direction. That kind of says something sometimes. We push like this. We do not. Do we pull like this? Yes, we do. That's a cutscene. I lost my cursor. By the way, I played the first Myst as the remaster. Second and third were not remastered. This one's not remastered. First game was smooth like butter and beautiful 3D graphics you can move around freely in, and then the rest of them have been this sort of like fixed. You're in one spot in the world and you're fixed. Here's the weird thing about 4 that I could not have imagined when we started 4. 4 is slower and harder to maneuver in than all of the other Mysts. 1 would maybe have been bad, especially back in the day, using it on a computer of that era. Maybe. Oh, whoa. Flashy. Is that? Oh, because there's a storm outside? Okay. It's not like a lightning problem. That's fine. What's this over here? What are you guys? What? Oh yeah, this is also an ASMR game. This is a game where you can tap on everything to make different sounds. Interesting. It's interesting. Troa! Hi and welcome. Let's have a brief Zen moment with Troa. That's interesting. In a weird scene caught within a scene issue, it didn't full screen, but it mostly screened. Hero, how are we doing? I've had a long day. I'm in a robe and trying to self-care myself right now. Oz had a show, a marketplace for her earrings today. So that's always like extra logistics on the weekend for us to do, and what will I do with the kids in the meantime and all that kind of thing. Yeah. Uh-oh. I haven't slept still since I took my sleeping meds last night. I'm going a bit nuts. Yeah, by all means, lurk away. Do what you need to do. Draw a bath, get some tasty food, whatever it takes to get yourself in a relaxed state. We're playing an ASMR game, so you know, if you need me to like tap on something in the game. Oh, that's a nice tap. These columns have a good thunk crystal or like stone sound to them. That must have been fun to record all the ASMR for this game back in this day when those 4 letters didn't mean anything. But yeah, for some reason this game is slower in every way than all of its predecessors. So transition screens, I have to kind of like everybody. Ooh, nice clink clink. Everybody who was warning me kind of about the game in the beginning was like, take it slow and like watch your cursor, because the animations of the hand, which we've made red, which I think is a good choice in this very blue environment to make sure that we're able to see the hand very clearly. To watch the hand's animations are sometimes rather slow. So this is obviously something. It's all the floating stones and the storm and this crystal technology and chains everywhere. I look into this. I wonder if part of this age was like made by Sirrus's mind. Like, yes, it was written by his dad, but maybe as he came in and he lived here for so long, I wonder how much of it is like an example of when Sirrus is put somewhere long enough, what happens to the world around him. Feels like there's ways to go too. There's a way over there. You can't go that way, but we can go more this way. I kind of want to go this way. I don't know what is up here. The pixels are kind of, I mean, it's old art, so you have to kind of stare at it for a minute and probably just get closer until you can figure out just what the heck you're looking at. I'm about 5 minutes away from calling my buddy to cruise by and smack me in the head with a shovel. Oh no. All right. Hi, crystal. What are we doing so close to this crystal? Oh, the thing is lighting up. Oh, our memory necklace, which does cutscenes, which is fantastic. Let's watch the cutscene based on this floating crystal that's chained to something down below.
Impossible. Every scientific principle I know tells me these rocks shouldn't be floating. And yet, somehow, they are. Don't know how you did it, Father. But if you can write it, I can certainly use it.
Interesting. All right. What is this? Zip? Oh! Is this how zip works? I thought zip... Oh, that's really interesting. I was looking for zip all game long and wasn't finding it. I didn't realize it's down in the bottom of the UI, just hanging out there. What is that? What is that? Oh, that's lightning. Okay, I know what lightning is. Yeah. Even the closer I get, I still don't know like quite what I'm looking at here. Let's get real close. Tell me just what the heck I'm looking at. What is this? A telescope? Perhaps? Oh, it is. Singing crystals? Oh, no. That's the necklace again. Psh. Yeah, I spent a whole week. Oh, stream streak. I wonder if I can make a an alert for that so I can see when you pull that up. Lies. Oh, 3 streams. 1, 2, 3. That would have been today. The Enshrouded. Would you have missed Discourse? I think you were there. I think you were there for Discourse, weren't you? Something went wrong. Something's going wrong here. 3. It would have been... oh, maybe just today. Yesterday. Yeah, maybe it didn't count Discourse. I don't know why. That makes no sense.
Has to be fake. Has to be. But will getting to it allow me to finally reach the ground? Have to know. Have to get over there.
So somehow, I feel like he must have made it over to that side over there. Which, that's far. But maybe these things make some kind of a bridge. If they get enabled in the right way. That would be pretty cool. Yes, I was here. My lie was the DADT. Right. DADT. Your lie was the... I don't know what DADT is. Or is that a typo? I remember you being here every day this week. What's going on? You should submit a ticket to Twitch. Be like, hey, want my streak number? This is going to show us how to make a bridge across. Oh, that's what DADT is. Thank you. Yes, right. Sorry, I don't know enough people in military to remember all the acronyms. I very much remember now. Floating crystal. It's caught in a cage. Coming out of my cage, and I've been doing some crystals. Do we move this? Oh, nothing's happening. Right in the middle? Nothing. And over here? Nothing. So I don't... I feel like I'm supposed to learn something with this. But I don't know what. Oh, there's another memory here? Oh my gosh. My boyfriend at the time was Navy. Gotcha.
Remarkable. No change to its molecular structure, no buildup of illumination inside. As long as the crystal remains grounded, electricity just passes straight through it. Interesting.
As long as the crystal remains grounded. Electricity passes straight through it. Which one of these is electricity? Which one of these is... What am I supposed... Oh, what just happened? My game! My game. Why, oh why did this happen? How do I get my game back? Oh! Oz. It was an Oz. Oh no. I have to ask Oz, please, please let me back in. Bear with me. We'll make this work. I think what it was is that Oz and I share a Steam library, and it almost never creates an issue. On Saturdays, she's usually playing some offline game, and I'm usually playing Myst, and it doesn't conflict. Not a big deal. And right now, it suddenly created a situation. Let's pop into Oz's stream. I'm watching it. I see you over there, Trawa. See if we can get the game back up and running very shortly. Thank you for your patience here. While we do some technical work to get me back in. I think we're coming back in. I think we're coming back in. Oh, that was weird. It asked for admin rights. Okay, all sorts of crazy stuff's happening. Bear with me. And Oz is watching my stream. I think I heard myself on her stream. Streamception, Oz. We know what you're doing while you know what we're doing while we know what you're doing. Okay, I hear the game. Let's see if we can make the game work on this. That is not the thing. Gotta be this thing. God, this game is so hard for me to stream. I can't even express to you the technical difficulties to get all of my windows to work right while this game takes over full screen and pushes all of my windows into other random places. It's a logistic nightmare. Okay, can we skip this stuff? Hey, we skipped. Hey, we're back up and running. Thanks, Oz. Oh, and it saved right here. It saved right here. Great, 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 great. We're not far from where we left off. We watched this cutscene? Yeah? Well, maybe not.
Impossible.
We'll do a quick recap. I could kind of use it, to be perfectly
I
honest.
know tells me these rocks shouldn't be floating, and yet somehow they are. Don't know how you did it, Father, but if you can write it, I can certainly use it.
Yep. He feels weird. He feels like Sirrus feels like he's been rewritten in some way that makes him more like understandable. You know what I mean? We clicked on that. We saw this video. But I want to watch it one more time.
Has to be fake.
Fake.
Has to be.
What has to be fake?
But will getting to it allow me to finally reach the ground?
I don't know. Will it?
Have to know. Have to get over there.
Do you? Do we? We'll see. Okay. So Sirrus's plan is to get over there. So our plan is to get over there. And then there was a memory associated with this. This is how this game's going to go. Lots and lots of memories.
No change to its molecular structure, no buildup of illumination inside. As long as the crystal remains grounded, electricity just passes straight through it. Interesting.
As long as the crystal remains grounded, the electricity passes straight through it. So the electricity, or the crystals are a conduit? I don't really know my electric theory very well. They conduct electricity. What about what are we looking at over? Well, what is this? A journal. A journal with subtle animation that it will open if we click and drag. Oh yeah, that layers of fear mechanic. Sirrus was the bougie asshat and the torture fanatic. Yeah, half right. So the torture fanatic was the lunatic Akinar. He was the giggly, sort of like unhinged guy. Whereas Sirrus was the bougie, drunk, charismatic, sort of like smooth talker. Between the two of them in Mist 1, when Akinar asks you to help him, he was like, "You'll help me, right? I need the blue pages. You'll give me the blue pages." And it was like, whoa, this guy's a lunatic, right? But then Sirrus was like, "I've been wronged. Father has betrayed me, and Akinar has painted me, in a bad light. But I'm not the bad guy. They're the bad guys. You have to understand. I'm being persecuted." And it had this feeling of like he's being slimy and you're being manipulated, sort of thing. And then you also find out later on through, where he lived in each of the ages. He drank a lot. He lived a bougie lifestyle. He was just kind of like this dark, creepy, like old blood aristocrat sort of type, which is weird because his dad doesn't seem to like have that. So where does he come up with that's how he interfaces with the worlds, right? So I feel like now we're seeing him here. Yes, he's in desperation. He's in prison. Is he going to act differently than his bougie self? Probably. But they're definitely... Mist 4, it feels like this is retconning who he is from being like severe and dark and manipulative into something that you could kind of believe his side a little bit more. So yeah, I already feel kind of like Mist 4 is a retcon on how bad the boys were. All right, 87,525. It appears that I have underestimated him. I did not think he could be this devious. He always said Spire was dangerous, but I assumed he meant its people were violent. Violent and potentially xenophobic. The perfect combination with which to orchestrate a coup. But there are no people here. No prosperous civilization for me to rule. I see now how his linking panel fooled me. Congratulations, Father. This hand goes to you. Interesting. So, it almost seems like Atris was the devious one, and where Sirrus learned his devious nature. Because he had this backup plan in case Sirrus turned out to be a bad egg of like how... Oh, there's already another memory associated right here with the book even. I didn't even see this. We better check this out.
It appears that I have underestimated him. I did not think he could be this devious. He always said Spire was dangerous, but I assumed he meant its people were violent. Violent and potentially xenophobic. The perfect combination with which to orchestrate a coup.
I didn't know he was going to
But
read
there
this.
are no people here. No prosperous civilization for me to rule. I see now how his linking panel fooled me. Congratulations, Father. This hand goes to you.
Well, it's cool. I like. I'm not going to do this with every page now that I know that this happens, but
It appears that I have
oh,
underestimated.
yeah, we're done. We're done. We'll keep
I have
reading.
established a temporary encampment near the vegetal cavern. The food I brought with me should last a month. After that, I will be forced to grow what I eat. The plants here are neither scrumptious nor overly abundant, but I have tasted several and find the nutrition is there. Turning now to the question of escape. I believe there may yet be a missed linking book here. The simplest way for Father to have disposed of it would have been to jump off the palace as he touched it.
Oh, smart.
There are other ways, of course, but I cannot ignore this possibility. I must at least attempt to reach the ground.
Mm-hmm.
This is fast becoming unacceptable. I have slid down every oddly shaped windpipe in this age, and have yet to see below the second cloud layer. I was fairly certain that at least 3 of the passages would prove successful.
Oh, turn the page. Turn the page.
Yet even they dead-ended inside a magnificent sealed cavern full of crystals. The crystals themselves are curious. Something about their inner matrix makes them susceptible to a buildup of negative charges. When I touched one, I received a terrible shock. At the same time, the faint light that had been emanating from the crystal faded, and I heard a very curious hum, which ceased as soon as the crystal's charge was expended. I should like to study these crystals more thoroughly, and will institute a plan to mine the cavern extensively. Last night, I saw lights flickering in some of the other palaces. It occurred to me that I might not be alone. What if this age is like Stone Ship? Father never could explain how Emmett and Branch just appeared there. He said the art was always surprising him. Could it be that the lights I saw flickering were made by other people? What I would give to discover this is true. After all these months of solitude, just to have another person to talk to. About the floating rocks. There is a phosphorescent green mineral running through much of this age which exhibits strong diamagnetic properties. At least that is the most workable hypothesis I have devised that can explain how the rocks I see outside my garden are able to float. This has given me an idea. If I can capture one of the larger boulders, I should be able to turn it into a vessel and thereby sail across the clouds to the nearest palace.
Oh, that's how it's done.
The most difficult obstacle to achieving this will be maintaining the necessary altitude. I have noticed that these rocks float higher than the highest point on that palace. Forcing my ship to float lower than it prefers will take some doing.
Interesting.
For the past few weeks, I've been watching storms move through the second cloud layer. They appear as flashes of light inside the strata. The violence of these storms does not reach me in the garden. I encounter no rain, barely feel the wind. I am completely safe here, nestled between layers.
Interesting.
I do not know how this is possible. How could Father have created a world which exhibits so many scientific impossibilities? He never did explain how to write an age. He never taught Agnar or I the art.
Or me.
I wonder now if I should have insisted. The crystals I mine from
Grammar
the lower
fail.
cavern are really quite remarkable. There seems to be no limit to the amount of electricity they can store. Unfortunately, this makes working with them difficult. So long as a charged crystal is isolated, the energy inside it remains trapped in its matrix.
Hey, Sean.
But the moment the crystal even brushes against a grounded object, stored charge flows out, producing a most amazing song.
Oh, song.
I should like to capitalize on this singing ability, if only as a...
As somebody who was doing voice acting for all of these, I feel kind of bummed that I don't do this part, but I like hearing how they've decided to go with it, you know?
pleasant diversion. It might be nice to hear some music in these caverns.
Also welcome.
Regardless, I believe the crystals can solve my rock ship problem. By affixing them to some of the floating rocks, then casting them back into the clouds, I should be able to harness enough of Spire's natural electricity to fuel an electromagnet.
Yeah.
The attractive force of the magnet, combined with the smaller magnetic fields of the lightning conductors, should be able to lower the ship and guide it to the nearest palace. It is definitely worth an attempt.
Go, Sirrus, go. I don't know. I'm rooting for you, but I think I want him. I think I want this version of him to win.
Another storm is brewing.
I can understand that. I just happen to be vision impaired and either couldn't read it at all or else got the wrong word, especially when they're in cursive. Honestly, I think any eyeball with some of the fonts that they choose would struggle. This game is not the worst, but the sort of default font that they use for subtitling is it's painful. It's painful for me to read, and I think I've experienced that with some of the previous games before, especially Riven. They picked a very strange font for what's his name, Gen, and I'm playing through all these for the first time. By the way, 2024 is like my year to play Myst. Never tried these games before. But yeah, Gen's handwriting, I would be trying to voice act through the books and struggle and stumble and what's that word? Oh, I said the wrong word. I think based on the context, it's supposed to be this one, and it was just, it was hard.
I write this. I can.
Gen basically had Doctor's cursive. True, very true. Yeah, that was rough times.
Feel the hairs on my arms starting to rise. I'm almost crazed with anticipation, waiting to test the first conductor. My God, is this what Father felt? Every time his hand hovered above the panel of a book he'd just written? Did he feel this much excitement as he stood poised to learn of his theories and works? Why did he never share this with me? If he had, perhaps things could have been different between us. The first conductor is glowing. Here goes nothing.
Uh-oh.
No!
Good screams. Good screams.
Calculations were perfect. The ship should not have broken free.
Sounds like me at my job.
The distance between the conductors must be too great. I'm going to have to add more to the system, but if I do, the electromagnetic pull will be too strong and the ship will crash to the floor. So can I counterbalance it? Create a second electromagnet in the roof of the garden.
Can you?
I am going to have to start building again and capture another rock for a ship. This mistake has set me back years.
Oh.
But I am close. So close to reaching the nearest palace, and from there maybe accessing the ground. I only hope the linking book still works.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome to my family of fledglings. Hi and welcome. Being new to the stream, if you don't know the spiel, I'm Damien Halme. Yes, the final E is pronounced. I do variety streams Wednesday through Saturday. We do a lot of deep talk, conversation, philosophy, religion, politics. Nothing is off the table. So there's a lot of like triggerable conversation that can come up during the course of our week. Wednesday through Saturday, I stream 4-hour streams every day of the week, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We're doing basically focus on deep talks on Wednesday, retro games on Thursday. Right now we're doing the Mother series from Japan. They're on the Famicom and Super Famicom. I don't think they really made it to America until much, much later, but usually only in fan translations. Friday we're doing a brand new game called Enshrouded. It's not even released. It's just in early access right now. And Saturdays we're doing puzzle games. Right now we're going through the entire Myst franchise with some subtle hints from the community at large. Thank you all for all your subtle hints that have gotten me through this series. I want to know how long Sirrus and Akanar were in their original prison books, right? Like, there's some timeline stuff here that I really want to see sort of plotted out, and I'm sure somebody has delved through not just the game lore, but as I understand it, there are 3 books that also fill in some of the gaps too. And if everything is canon, and that's a big question. I know there are a lot of large and multi-decade spanning franchises where they retcon a lot of stuff. But if everything is canon, then I'd be curious to see sort of how the timeline ends up going. You know what I mean? The Damien B's the brainy Smurf. I'm trying to set that stage for myself. I know there's some smart people on YouTube and on Twitch, and I almost want to try to break those boundaries between me and them. I know I'm small, but I want to meet up with some of them, and I want to sort of like test our brains together. Like, I'm curious how everybody's favorite Smarties out there compare to me. I know there's something different with my brain, but I also have mad imposter syndrome. So the more that I acquire in life, the more things go like a certain way, and the more people tell me I'm smart, the more I'm like, no, you've been duped. No, I've said something that made you that I've misled you into thinking I'm smart. I'm not actually as smart as people say, or I know like hundreds of smarter people than me. But I also acknowledge that is a fallacy of mine that I don't like too much praise. I pull away from it. And so I'd be curious to see like some actual comparative, get into deep conversations, get in some one-on-one conversations with some of my favorite smart people online, and just see, if we talk, am I in awe with how clever they are, or are we on even footing, or am I like bored with how plebeian they actually are? I'd be curious to know. I just blame the fact that I'm good at crazy stuff. I just blame on my ADHD. ADHD can be a superpower. Now, that's not necessarily the case. It's, I've heard some people say ADHD gives me superpowers of like hyperfocus or blah, blah, blah. 9 times out of 10, ADHD is not helpful. It is not beneficial. So don't let anybody paint it as something that's great. And then if you have ADHD, you go, well, what's wrong with me then? Nothing wrong with you. It's not always just a day in the park, not always a parade. But it can, on occasion, sometimes do some pretty cool things here and there when you get in the right mindset and directed with focus on the right things. Intelligence and being smart are 2 different things. Oh, very true. Yeah, you can fill your brain with a whole bunch of facts, right? An intelligent person can learn. A smart person can use what they learned. True. Yeah, I think the better of the 2, and the one I pride myself in a little bit more, is sort of critical thinking and also not taking what you have for granted. In other words, thinking outside of the box, or what's classically taught as like non-linear thought or non-linear solutions. If somebody says, here's the problem, do you choose solution A or solution B? You come at it from other angles besides what they've told you. Their very constraints on the problem are unacceptable to you, and so you pull out externalities and work the problem in your favor. And I think having skills like that are far superior to being able to say, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of the Mongolian horde's conquest. Right? Like, you can know all that stuff, but then what do you do with that knowledge? And a lot of people end up getting poached. If they're too intelligent, they end up getting poached by somebody who really wants their attention and say like, hey, look at this, we've got hundreds of sports statistics and playing cards and years of running yardage or tossing errors and RBI and all this sort of stuff. Why don't you fill your head with statistics on these sports stars? And I know a few people who are like this, and they have crazy mad amounts of data in their brain. Their brain is overclocked with intelligence on sports statistics. What do you use that? How do you further yourself, your family, your city, your mankind? Do you have a legacy after you die? They go, wow, that dude knew a lot about 1960s basketball or something. Yeah, I don't know. Smart's better, I think. Hyperfocus is real, but you spend more time unable to focus at all. Yeah, so that's, you know, the monkey's paw, right? You have a lot more time not focused, and then the time that you do hyperfocus, you better pray that the target of your focus is what you wanted it to be. You could be hyper-focused on, I really need this houseplant to have the best life they could possibly have, and then at the end, you're like, oh crap, I was supposed to spend all this time doing laundry, calling the pharmacy. I needed to put something in the mailbox before the mail carrier came, and now they're gone. Like, it could be a really devastating situation. Ingenuity. Yes. Yes. I think that's a good term. Do we have a memory on this? We do not. My necklace is cold. Oh, I know what to do with those sort of people. Hang on one sec. I've got a thing for this person here. Also, hello. Oh, am I not in How am I looking at my stream and I'm not in my own moderator mode where I can do something with this person? Is the thing a taser? Do I have a taser for this person? I do not have a taser for this person. User actions. Oh, there it is. Report. You are spam. Do I need to say anything else about this? It is a spammer person. No, not spam like excess. That's not what it is. That's not the right word, is it? Why don't you have something for just like it's probably like a bot. Link to best viewers or something like that. I don't know. Twitch people, you figure out why they're bad. Also, I will block them. Thank you. When I do it on my phone, it doesn't give me the alert. That makes me sad. How about now? How about now? Still nothing? Oh, I think I know what I need to do. Give me a sec, because I'm doing this on my phone, because in this game, this particular game, it's super hard for me to alt-tab out. So I'm trying to do it from my phone. There! That's what I was looking to do. I wanted to see that come up on my screen. Thank you! 7 messages deleted by a moderator. Was that me? Did I delete a whole bunch of stuff I wasn't supposed to delete? I'm super sorry if I got your message and you're like an actual person listening to me. I super didn't mean to. Oh, crap. I definitely deleted somebody wrong. I deleted somebody wrong. I didn't mean to. Unban that person. That other dude is still there. Sean, come back. You could blame it all on me because I'm using my phone and I just can't use my phone good. It's not letting me do the other person. Sean, apologies. I'm trying to do this by not alt-tabbing out and using my computer. If I use my computer, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna do this the right way because it's not working right. Every time I alt-tab out of the game, it like breaks my entire 3-monitor setup to try to make this all work. And Sean, this was not deserving. You did not deserve this. I needed to get this person. Yes. That guy. Bye. We got the right person. And we brought in the right person back. Why my phone was like, oh yeah, we're gonna delete 7 of Sean's messages and take them out. I'm like, I did not click on whatever. You know, we fixed it. Can we give? I wish I could gift you something like your messages back. You're okay. You're a good bean. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your face. Okay. Yeah, that was a big oops. I don't know why my phone is dumb. Like, believe me, when it comes to pressing ban on somebody's name, I'm going to do it real slow and real deliberate. And I did all that, and it still came out wrong for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Zorik, welcome back. Yes, we're playing Myst 4. We were in Tawana. We were supposed to fix things for Atris. spoiler alert, we didn't do everything he asked us to do. And then in addition to fixing the things he asked us to fix, he also said, oh, by the way, my young daughter, won't you babysit her? And guess what? We screwed up one of her science experiments, and then she like ran away or something happened.
Scene KS1 just subscribed.
Sam, thank you so much. Honestly, that was probably the best thing we could have done for Sean, because we had a bad experience where my phone decided that he was the bot, and it was just stupid. And there. Now you're gifted a sub. Sam, you're the best. Thank you very much. And look at that, more than halfway to our goal of 40 subs. That's insane. That's so cool. This has been I have some big stuff coming up.
Symptotic just subscribed.
Troa. What goes around comes back around. And I got you. Look, it's a circle of love. That's very sweet. I do all of my own emoji by hand using Procreate on an iPad, by the way. Just saying. And also, there are bot sub perks that happen whenever you join a stream for the first time. You'll get like some stuff coming up that other people don't get because they're not as cool as you for having a sub. So just being subbed here is a cool thing. So yes, we're in Mist 4. We did the Tomana thing. We weren't very good at helping Atris or being a good babysitter to his daughter. And now we're in one of the prison books where he's locked away his nefarious sons. And we're learning about one of them, namely Sirrus, if you know the game series well. This is the drunkard, bougie, blue blood aristocrat sort of guy that's highfalutin and manipulative. And we're learning about him, and 4 so far is painting him in kind of a more generous light, which makes me think we're going to retcon him a little bit, and he's going to be like more, what's the word I'm looking for? Forgivable. And we're going to be questioning, was he the bad guy after all? Was Atris really the bad guy? I don't know. You know, what's going on? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Where are you in the game now? So the area we're in is called Spire. There's a lot of like crystal and electricity tech going on here. As you can see, we're in some sort of like crystal and fungal growing house. And there are like storms and floating crystals outside. There's like some electromagnetism floating going on. There's an interesting statue happening over there. Yeah, it's just... it's a vibe. It's a vibe in here. I like it. I love the music. I love the ambiance. And so far, the cutscenes have been really interesting. There's a lot less voice acting in this game, which makes me a little bit sad because I do like the voice acting in the game. And we haven't uncovered too many puzzles in the game so far, which has been okay. The only things that where I've needed some soft hints, I've definitely been moving too fast. So I'm really trying to slow down in this particular game. I honestly am trying. Mary's almost done with my emotes. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see how they turn out. I have deliberately been hiding myself from her work just so that when I do see them in full release, that I will be surprised and pleasantly, you know, I will be very happy with what I see. I'm sure. She's a great artist. The goddess Aphrodite, one of my feline overlords, approves of your stream. Aww. We're kitty parents too. She's sleeping right behind my backside. How sweet. Our cats both had previous names, and we had to like subtly rename them because they did answer to those names. They're SPCA rescues. One of them was named before I met Oz, I was dating somebody. Is it okay to say her name? Well, yeah, I don't want to say her name, but we had the first cat that we adopted was named the same name as that girl, a girl that I left for Oz. And I didn't want to be like yelling that name, be like, insert name here, get down from that table, or stop clawing the couch. Like, it would feel just so weird for all parties involved. So I was like, you know what? Let's name her Kay. So we have one kitty named Kay to change it from the name of the other girl. I was dating. And then the second kitty that we rescued, her paperwork said her original name was Sucia. Now, if you speak Spanish, Sucia is a Spanish word, and it means dirty. And she is a Russian blue, which means her hair color is naturally sort of like a soot gray. I don't know why they call them blues if they're sort of more of a gray. I guess like a slate gray, so it's kind of a bluish gray. So she has this gray fur that looks like, I don't know, like she's covered in ash or something. And so they were like, oh, Sucia, that's a cute name. But I thought, that's kind of an awful name. Her name means she's like dirty. And it just sounds derogatory. So we ended up going with Susie, because Susie and Sucia, they both perked her ears the same way. So we're like, okay, that's her new name. You know? Like we're retconning our cats. Yeah. Hello and welcome back. Yisha did get mad, but the big issue was the explosion and the concussion. Yeah, that's true. She didn't nope out on her own. I had some problems because, yeah, there's some technical issues on Tomana, right? They are our fuzz goblins. We have the crotch goblins and the fuzz goblins. Who had a concussion? The player, me, in this game. Not me, really. In my brain, I've never had a concussion. Let's knock on some wood here. But when you're playing as Mistman, which is just what I've been calling the Mist character, something exploded on Tamana, and we took some damage. Yeah, we woke up all fuzz-brained and hard to focus. Sean says, one of my buddies warned me not to pick up one of his cats because she was mean. I asked what her name was, and he said Iris. Oh, that's a pretty name. So I told him that was the problem because that wasn't her name. Ooh, are you like a cat whisperer? Do you know stuff about cats that humans don't normally know? I called out Empress and she hopped into my lap, purring. That was her name from then on, and she was their best cat. Dude, that's a cool story. I got chills. I'm also like the guy that's like, very like anti-horoscope and the big skeptic and stuff like that. But some of these stories, you know, they just happen the way they happen. Sometimes they can't be helped, you know? The world just works in these ways, and maybe there's no explanation for why. Wait, what is the sound? Oh, it's like a thin glass canister sound. Okay. Interesting. Oh, and that's metal there. 2 different sounds. Very well done. All the ASMR in this game is so good. What about you? Oh. Right, and then this. Can we tap on the paper? We can. I have no idea what this is. It's like a pear or avocado up there, and then fungus, and then a crystal with matrix wires sticking out of it, and then lima beans on spears. Coming up from the side. Well, you tell me what it is. No, don't tell me. It's fine. Concussions are weird. You can tell us about it, Tra. Speaking of, I'm debating whether enough time has elapsed for a cocktail. I believe it's time for a Troa cocktail. Of course, I'm not your doctor, so please don't follow my medical advice. Cats believe they rule the Omnimegaverse? Interesting. So you need to play with it when choosing names. I have King James, his wife Queen Violet, their daughter the goddess Aphrodite, and our newest owner, his royal hindass, King Richard of the Lion's Fart. Amazing. Amazing. I think you're my kind of people. Oh! We have a memory coming up.
Your faith in me is truly amazing, Mother. How long before I kill this one?
Oh. That's sad. Well, it's still alive. He's not even here. I'm gonna touch it. Hopefully I don't kill it. Watch, I have some rare, like, blight on my fingertips. I'm spreading it all over the petals right now. We come back one stream later, and it's dead. Just kidding. I have a gallows sense of humor. So it looks like there's a goo inside this crystal. I wonder if that's part of his attempts to get things to float. Okay, so is there more up here, or is the? I mean, obviously, like visually there is, but it looks like there's no walking up there. So I'm glad we chose this direction first. Now we can go back this other way. And can we go? I guess we have to go around. This seems definitely where we will have a floating rock of some sort here, because that's the path over. But we're not there yet. It looks like there's actually something floating above us. So getting it down here in the first place will be part of our mission, and then we'll ride it over to the other palace. But to get there, we still have this other path yonder to explore. My fur babies are of the canine variety and snuggle monsters. I love that. I love snuggly animals. Ours are not very snuggly until you're on your phone, and then they want to lie down on your arms between your eyes and your phone screen so you cannot see your phone anymore. Aphrodite has 3 siblings, and I spent hours asking if they were this authority figure or that one until they individually responded. Wow, you put in your time for this. Yeah. They chose Atlas for the biggest and only male, Gaia for Aphrodite's twin, who always played with Atlas and was always on top, and Medusa for the only long hair out of the litter. Love that. Very deific names there. Okay, what is this thing that we're walking over? Is this some sort of a door? It definitely feels that way. And then what is this? A ladder up? Oh my gosh. And then there's more this way. There's a lot to uncover. This is making me have... Okay, let's keep walking this way. We will come... no, you can't pass these up. I don't want to keep walking. Let's go down first and then up. That's how it... Oh. Okay. I see. So there's a down, but we're not going to find out. There is an up. Let's do the up. This is important. Then we'll come back and do the keep walking down the same path sort of thing. Can we mess with these? There's so many like electric cables. It's very interesting. So now we're at the level of the ship that's going to take us across to... oh yeah, there's all sorts of electric crystal power going on here. And this is all supposed to make this thing hover just right, so that it's like a love train sort of thing, or like Japanese high-speed rail kind of thing. Can we tap it? No, we can't touch it from here. People jokingly call this Myst for Revelations the tapping simulator. As soon as I started, everybody was like, oh, the ASMR game, yeah. And so I'm taking time to do some taps. Half for me, and you know, half for you guys. Okay, there's a button there. First, let's check out this. Maybe there's a memory. There is. There is. Terra! Ah, you found the thingy up above that matches the thingy down below. Yes. Yes, I did.
Idiot! You've run these calculations 1,000,000 times.
Uh-huh.
Counterbalance the magnetic forces perfectly, otherwise the ship won't get out of the dock.
Okay.
And you do want to get out of the dock, don't you? After all these years of trying?
He's so self-deprecating. Sirrus, think higher of yourself. You're a king. Yeah, so far I'm loving this age, and I love the lore, and it really is. I was saying this is kind of like more movie than game, and I'm here for it, because the lore was so far my favorite part of these games. And to see that this game doesn't do the lore dump in the beginning, but it does it through the course of your exploration, I see walking simulator games that are lore heavy later on that have zero puzzle, zero like gameplay solutions or whatever. They're just like you walk through and you like learn a world, or maybe like a mild gameplay element at best. I see those games as sprouts to this seed. This is a really fun version of a Myst game. The fact that the puzzle is so light, the Easter egg hunt is much more minimal than it was in the previous games, and the lore is so heavy. It's like they really heard feedback from people that think about this series like I've been thinking about this series, which is too much Easter egg, not enough rational puzzle like Amateria and Myst 3, and just please, like, lots of lore. The lore is the good stuff. My only complaints with this game so far are the slow loading times between screens, which, whatever, it's a technical thing and it's an older game. I can cope with it, you know? And just tonight we discovered that the books read themselves, and just as a voice actor, I'm a little bit sad that I'm not on the rope to read these things out loud for you and that somebody else did the work. And I personally want to listen to their voice acting. So it makes me shut up and just sit there and listen on a live stream, which, you know, it takes a little bit of the wind out of my sails. That's not the game's fault. That's just me wanting to do voice acting. But yes, the game is very pretty, and I'm here for it. Yeah. This age is so much more puzzling than the other age. Oh, interesting. Yeah, what's more puzzling is how could anyone keep their sanity here? Akinar's age is almost like a paradise for him. Interesting. We haven't been there yet. So don't fill me in too much on the details. The lore is massively ramped up in this one. Love that. How is Spire treating me? Everett, this is one of my favorite places in a Myst game so far. I could live here. I could live here. Yeah, I like cold and windy, and I love thunderstorms. And it's high up and brooding and dark. It's everything that like a closet goth like me could ask for. All right, let's push the button. Boop. Oh my. That's a lot of stuff that we don't know anything about right now. Yep. He hasn't gotten to the puzzle part yet, though. No, not yet. Although, now we're looking at something. Honestly, I'm torn between this or Mass Effect' most lore-heavy game. I've yet to play Mass Effect. Would that be a series worth streaming? I do love sci-fi. I love fantasy and sci-fi. Come back to the PNW. The infrastructure and growth just aren't there, or we would have. We were so close to coming back to where I grew up, which was Oregon, and we were so close. And then we compared Oregon's like school system, growth rate, housing costs, and like every and trajectory over time. Like we did so much mathing and spreadsheets, it was stupid from so many different sources. We never trusted any single source. We compared like 6 different source elements of different research facilities against each other, weighted numbers for the things that we cared about more than other stuff, and that brought us to Georgia. Really did. Georgia or Texas, but then Texas got expensive in our research. Texas ended up getting priced out of our ability to like move there. We're like, okay, if we move there, we could, but then we'll live there poor, which was our problem with why we wanted to move in the first place. ESO's lore is up there. It's expansive. I have ESO. I was very graciously gifted that from Onyx, if you all know who he is in our communities. And I really do want to dive into it. I think our fault was we tried to play ESO as a multiplayer experience, and it's just not. It's not. I mean, you can jump in and do stuff together, and it feels like you're resourceful as a team. But the lore part, it's not fun to do multiplayer. One person does the reading of the text or whatever, and like you're all distracting each other, and you miss out on a lot. It's a single player game that you have to log in on. I think. I would say this is worth streaming, or Mass Effect. I would say it's worth streaming and has a decent following even today. Also, I'm Washington State myself. Oh, neat. Cool stuff. There's like I did not do this, so I don't know if this is algorithm or what. Like, what pulls you to my YouTube channel or my Twitch? For those of you who don't know, I stream on Kick, YouTube, and Twitch simultaneously, so you can watch me on any platform you so desire of those three. I'm at /Damian Holme on all of them. But it's weird how much like Pacific Northwest or ex-Pacific Northwest is in the stream that I didn't ask you to be here. I didn't pull you in. I didn't know you when we didn't go to school together. At least I don't think. God, if we start comparing notes and I find out that some of you were in my first elementary school, that would be really trippy as fuck. But something is like, there's a PNW vibe that just happens. ESO's lore is massive. There's birth cycle charts based on the orbits of the moons. That is crazy. Wow. Texas is gross and hot. I'm already poor here. I don't recommend it for anyone. I don't blame you. We moved to Georgia and we got ourselves established on a very good financial situation. It wasn't, except for the fact that we fell into unforeseen circumstances, the best I can put it. Stuff that I can't really like go too into detail on stream, but like things befell us one after the other, and they were big life-changing stuff. And so now we're like, I mean, I'm working 3 jobs to like make everything work. And so like, yeah, it sucks, but that's not to say Georgia sucks. That's just to say some like our lives took a sucky turn. And so, you know, here I am streaming and doing stuff, making it work. But besides that, I'd say Georgia's doing pretty good. It is a little bit gross and hot, but not as bad as Texas. We get a lot of nice storms here that cool us down. I played ESO solo and it was great, but I don't do much collab stuff game-wise. Yeah. So that's what I hear. I hear ESO is like a great single-player RPG that just happens to have other people in your world running around and doing their own thing too. Despite my animosity towards Spire overall, I agree that the graphic design here is quite impressive. Yeah, okay. I'm curious about when we're done with Spire, maybe. Everett, I'd like to pick your brain on what the animosity to this area is. And maybe I'll feel it. Maybe as I go through the puzzle, I'll be like, oh, I know what Everett's talking about. This part sucks. And Tara says, I tried ESO, but I don't enjoy all the multiplayer stuff. Oh, I mean, you don't have to... from what I understand from other people, they do not like play ESO as a multiplayer game, even though there are people in it. Aya is... Oh, you're Canadian. Nice. Where? That's, you know, that's kind of a vast coast-to-coast country. I mean, not as vast as people think it is if you look at a map. It's the funny thing. Like, look, everybody who's American that thinks that Canada is a very large country, look at the population density map of Canada, and you will know otherwise. My best friend's married to a Canadian, so, you know, I, by proxy, learned everything about Canada that I did not learn growing up. All the way down to, like, political parties and, like, you know, voting and medical stuff. Like, all the things that foreigners usually don't learn about a country. YouTube has been making me cranky today. It keeps pausing your video. I had the same thing happen. I was watching my own videos because I need the watch hours. By the way, everybody who's watching this, I need the watch hours on YouTube. And I looked and my video was it wasn't paused. It was just black. It just stopped playing, or it didn't like load the next one or something. I have missed followed, and I have been on a real miss kick for the last 2 weeks or so. Well, aren't you in luck? 2024 first playthroughs of Myst happening live on this stream. Plus, if you grew up in the PNW, we tend to think rather similarly. Maybe. I wonder about that. Yeah, I grew up in Eugene, Oregon. That's my formative years. I lived in Oregon as a baby. News about Everett. Interesting. We had storms today, knocked my power out so I couldn't stream. Oh, lame. It just came back about 20 minutes ago? How long was it out? I'm half Canadian, part of why I moved close to the border. Yeah, get that dual citizenship rights going on, right? You can play it as single player, but there are parts you can't do without others, and you always have to deal with constantly respawning enemies because multiplayer game. I don't mind respawning enemies as long as the pace of the game is such that they don't become a problem when you're trying to get around places. I really hate back spawns when you're trying to like get out of something and they don't have like good exit strategies. One of the things I loved most about playing Cyberpunk 2077 is every dungeon that you beat, when you're done, they give you a quick out. So you never have to backtrack your way out the front door again, which is just, it gets old, especially if there's any respawns. Out for like more than 3 hours. Ugh. We have the PNW Speak TV newscaster. Everyone else says we have no accent. Maybe. So I have this weird phenomenon. One, even though I grew up there, I absorb accents, and they have all manipulated my core accent quite a bit. So, and what's worse is when I hang out with somebody whose accent is very strong and distinct, mine will start to glide toward them like a gravity scenario. And I've studied some of these languages academically, and other ones I've picked up from immersion. Everything from received pronunciation, like estuary, British English, to like Southern Californian, like high-end surfer talker. I don't know what you would call it. The Blink 182, the Tom DeLonge accent, and everything in between. And so my accent's really hard to place, even for people in the PNW that think they would know what that accent is. Might not place me as being previously PNW. That's half of it. The other half of it is I have been clocked as having an accent. But the weird thing is, in America, nobody can tell where I'm from. No American has ever said, you have an accent that's different from here, and I'm curious where you're from. But anytime I hang out with somebody who's not American and they happen to be here, like on vacation, on holiday, visiting family or whatever, and I run into them for whatever reason, those people will say, hey, you're not from around here. Where are you from? I had a job in Southern California at one point, and I had a number of customers that would stop me and be like, you're not Californian. Where are you from? And I'm like, how do you know that? Like, oh, I'm Chinese. I could just like hear the Californian accent dripping off of everybody's speech here, but you don't have whatever it is that they have. And I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take 5 minutes to explain how I talk, but let's go. I try to explain it to them. Finally got my citizenship certificate. Now I need to cruise up to get my IDs and set up things like my medical card. That'll help a ton with bills. That is so cool. Trewa, that is like absolutely a superpower for you. I'm really excited that option is there for you. I'm exploring my dual citizenship opportunity, but unfortunately it would require us to move somewhere and live there for 7 years. Zork, I don't mean to call you out, but I super thought you were already a fledgling. Thank you so much for the follow. In my head, Zork was just like one of us. And then I was like, oh, wait, hey. Unless it was like you just hit the unfollow button and then you're like, oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to press. But I super thought you were part of our community, like fully already. Anyway, yeah, Troa, that's super badass. I'm not dual citizenship with Canada, by the way. Looking at Finland dual citizenship. Yeah. Tara says, now when I moved to the East Coast, they thought I was Canadian because of my accent. What the heck? I always worry people think I'm mocking them, but it's not. Oh, yeah. I always warn people, especially people from the UK. I'm like, hey, your accent is just, to me, superior than all the accents that come out of my mouth when I'm around Americans. And so my brain is just going to go to the highest standard, which is probably your accent, but I'm not trying to make fun of you at all. Yeah. Everett says, I used to visit family and friends in Eugene every year or so, and for about 10 years relatives lived in Roseburg. That's awesome. Well, I wonder if we did cross paths. Nah, probably not. I mean, Eugene's small, but it's not like small. It's still a college town. Tara says, but this drawl I've picked up down here is loathsome. Drawls have their own appeal. You might think that way because of where you come from, but I think a lot of people find an appeal to the way drawls come out. Joe says my accent changes. Sometimes I sound like a classic Californian. Sometimes I have a Utah country twang. I don't really know what that sounds like. Other times I'm very hard to place. Interesting. Okay. My health being a handbasket of crazy needs access to actual healthcare. Yes, it does. That's interesting to me. You just sound generic. Basically anything outside of the South, the Great Lakes, New York, or Boston. Perfect. That's good. And honestly, I've had so much exposure to so many different places. I've lived in a number of different states or had long stays in different states. I've had long stays in other countries. And so, which is amazing because we didn't really have the economic means to do so most of my life. So they had to be like through very special means that I had those experiences. And so I do feel like my accent's broad, and maybe that's why, like, I almost deliberately choose sounds that sort of mitigate where I might have been from and get me more connective to more people, make me feel like I am from where you are from, wherever that is, unless you're from an area where your accent's very strong and everybody else's is too, like New York or Boston or something like that, right? Can you do Scottish? So I know the gist of how to do a Scottish accent, but if I do it, I feel like I probably won't do it tonight because I want to get back into the game ASAP. But mine is poorly trained, missing good notes. It's one of those things that if I ever landed a role for a Scottish accent, I know who to contact. I know how my next like 2 weeks of my life have to go. And I will be speaking like a Scot for all of that time to make sure that absolutely percolates in me. If I try it now, it's going to sound like a bad pastiche. It just won't be there. But I'm like 2 weeks away from a number of really good accents. I just need to train back into them, and I don't really use them well enough or often enough to make them like a core part of my repertoire. But I do put them on like my my EPK and my CV when I'm trying to land roles for voice acting, because if necessary, I can get those back. Scottish is one of those I can get back. Irish I never had, and that's kind of weird to admit. But I can do a good Scottish accent with time and practice, and I cannot do Irish because I've never had the training, and I know they're different enough that you can't like glide over from one to the other. Apparently, citizenship in Ireland is super easy to get if you're applying from Canada. Interesting. They're copacetic with each other. Very cool. I did live in Virginia for a time, so I sometimes switch to a full Southern. Interesting. And Virginia is kind of like a curious, it's like a Yankee Southern. It's a very not twangy, not drawly Southern compared to like the Gulf states, which are, you know, the southern edge of the country. Very interesting. Yeah, I like the Virginia sound. It sounds patriotic to me, and I'm not a patriot, so I don't know why I think that. Maybe that's just my weird perception of what I think of Virginia. People tell me it's not bad. Some say cute even, but I hate it. I mean, you can always try to voice train yourself out of it and make your own accent. Mine is mostly like years of consciously working at making certain sounds come out the way I want them to, so that I'm not perverted by the area that I'm in to start talking like the locals. I picked my sound, you know what I mean? Now I'm not deliberately making all the sounds by what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not being manual mode about it. It's all automatic, but it did take training to get to the accent that I'm in right now. You found the chair. Are you an actor? The chair? Am I in a chair? What do you mean the chair? Or just this thing? Or this thing? Is this a chair? I don't know what you mean. Yes, I'm an actor. So I went to university for computer science, specializing in artificial intelligence, minoring in linguistics. to try to create a computational linguistics degree, which at the time that I went to the university that I went to, computational linguistics didn't exist as a field of study. So I kind of created it with the deans of language science and cognitive science and computer science all together. We made my own course curriculum out of that. And then I never used it. I never used it. I got out of college. I was trying to find my way into something in the career. And I was just working like bad dead-end jobs in the meantime, trying to pay off my student loans and figuring out what was going on. I was going through a divorce. Like, a lot of bad things were happening in my life, and I was making a lot of wrong choices myself. I was not the good guy necessarily in all this case, although I was the one that filed for the divorce papers, just to make that clear. And then 100 people over the course of that part of my life told me that I needed to go into acting. And I'm like, you guys are like absolutely crazy. I have, I've gone to higher institutional learning. That's not a sound decision. And also, acting is like not good money. And then the 100th person that convinced me, I was like, okay, well, I'll try out an acting academy. And so I went back to school. I was paying off student loans and I went back to an acting academy. I don't know why I did that. It was a bad decision. It was bad. It was a bad decision. But it was the best bad decision I think I ever made. And so I went to acting academy, and I didn't even finish the full curriculum. I dropped out of the run of classes and went into the industry, and it was immediately landing gigs. I even had an argument with the founder of the school. I was like, yeah, hey, I do want to sign up next year, and I like you guys, and you're really cool, and I'm gonna shout about how awesome you guys are to the hills, because I think you guys did a really good job training me. I think I need to spread my wings. And he's like, next year's so important for you. And I was like, next year is so important for me to work. I need to start working. And I did, and I immediately started in the industry and was immediately landing gigs. I didn't have to live in an apartment with like 5 other dudes sleeping on a futon and eating ramen to make ends meet to be a working actor. I was doing it like right out of the gate, no problem. So wild, absolutely wild. So yeah, I've done that for a number of years now. I do acting when I choose, and I have another separate couple jobs that I do instead. And what I'd really like to do is build this content creator sort of stuff, YouTube, Twitch, eventually like short sort of work, like TikTok, I know is an industry standard if you want to monetize and be seen by the world. So eventually a TikTok debut will need to be formulated and plotted out, and work that angle. And the reason why is because I love the entertainment and all the things that I trained very heavily into. And I know the tech savvy stuff on the back end. So tech end, I'm good. The being on camera end and being entertaining and having things to say and being a cogent person for you to focus your attentions on, I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I believe I have all of that down. So now the work is just to pull myself out of the stuff that supports this household and keeps the roof over our head and pays the bills. How do you pull out of something like that and go into something volatile like content creation and get to a point where you feel like you're sure that that you can cover the expenses regularly for having a roof over your head? And when I was younger and I wasn't married or with kids, that sort of gamble I could probably make and not bat an eyelash. If I needed to live in my car, I would live in my car. And I know because I've done it. I have lived in my car before, and that's not outside of my purview of capacity to do. But to put Oz into a car and make her live in a car and to make our kids live out of a car, that I refuse to do. So I couldn't just jump straight into full-time content creation, praying that I can cover all the bills. I need to be slow and strategic about how I get it done. Why do I want so bad to tap out of day job and do content creation full time? Because it would give our household the flexibility to make Oz the breadwinner. And if Oz is the breadwinner, our household dips in a lot of income because of the field she wants to go in versus what I get paid to do. But what we both want is for her to have that, because we want her to work as a mortician or something in the end of life industry. She's passionate about end of life. She studied mortuary science. She has a funeral director's license in California. She wants to get licensed in Georgia, and we want to make that happen. Unfortunately, people that run funerary services get paid significantly less than what I'm paid right now, and it would put us in financial crisis mode unless I was also doing content creation on the side to fill in the remainder of the gap. And I know exactly how much I need to earn. I know how much I need to grow. We just need to figure out the slow and steady way to make that happen. So that might include going back to doing acting as well, but I would love more so to do content creation more often, because then I'm my own creative boss, my own creative lead, and that's very meaningful to me. I have a lot of wonderful creative ideas I want to see come to fruition, and having to do other people's scripts, other people's roles, and play other people's characters all the time is a little disenfranchising to somebody with my creative throughput. Does that make sense? So I'd like to not go back into full-time acting. Tara says, I try to correct the drawl when I hear it, but I'm entirely surrounded by it, so it's super hard. You may just have to have a change of heart, especially if other people think it sounds cute. I don't know what to say. Zork says it can be. Don't you want to get back to the game? Yes! Yeah, eventually. Is Oz's real name Diversity Odell Diger? Yes. Her real name is Diversity Odell Diger. I don't. Is one of those words a typo? Yes, you've guessed it. You've guessed her real name. Let's see what this does. Boop. Nothing. Okay, boop. Boop, be back. 1, 2, 3, 4. They all have different tap sounds too. What about these? Okay, is this a slider? Hello? Will it move? Oh, it won't even move? It looks like it wants to. You can grab it, but it's stuck right now. So we got to figure out how to unstick it. And then this, can we slide this thing? No. This looks like it might be an altimeter, just from my playing a lot of flight sims when I was younger. So maybe this is how high the this craft is floating right now, and then we need to analyze how to move it down. But then the how, that's going to involve something that we're not there yet. So anyway, we do need to come back up here for sure to manipulate the altitude of that thing. We need to come down here almost certainly, and then this is where we'll take off. But first, let's go down this corridor that we haven't gotten down and see just what the heck we're facing here. Yes meant Diger. Diger Odell. Is that what you were trying to type? Not diversity? Or did you mean diversity O Diger? I need to know what you meant, and then I'll tell you if you're right, if that's Oz's real name. Be very careful about how you type it, because you only get 3 guesses, and then I will not let you guess on Oz's name again. All right, just looking around. I don't want to move too fast. Taking things at a moderate pace. I really love this place. The music's changed. Oh, this is good. Oh, there's that major third. And the flat 2, the Phrygian flat 2 with the major third. Oh. Tell me you all know what I'm talking about. Is anybody here music theory nerd? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say Phrygian? It just sounds cool, right? You don't have to know music theory. Let's just say There. Oh, that major third right there. Good. Good choice. Very, very nice. Yep, but you knew that. Troy, yeah, I know. You and I are the big music theory nerds here. I'm big on Phrygian. Phrygian's one of my favorite sounds of all time. High key though, I will not keep this a secret. I am fascinated with and have a deep interest in doing something. I've actually got something on the back burner. Wait, what just happened? Oh, memory. With another of those like classic church modes. I'm infatuated with the sounds that you can get out of Lydian, and I think modern music doesn't explore it nearly enough. 80s did it a little bit. It was very kitsch and strange, and it was always like weird acts that tried it, like Oingo Boingo and B-52s, and like bands that nobody took seriously. You know, there was like, oh, that weird joke band that does the weird costumes or whatever, has that weird music video. But Lydian has like such a potential to be like so something. I love it. I know enough music theory to be frustrated with it. That's fair. I think you can be a master at music theory and still be comfortable saying it's frustrating because it is. We've already seen my main objection to Spire. Sirrus built all this with rocks, his bare hands, and maybe a pocket knife. Okay, well, I didn't know that. I had no idea what he had on him when he came into this age, or what you're able to sort of craft out of what you find in this age. You know, was he able to eventually put together a forge and molds and create other tools with which to make more tools? I figure when you start an age over and over and over again, as much as Atris has, he probably has some sort of like checklist of things in his head that the boys probably learned as well. Like, okay, you're here. We need to invent, you know, power. How do we invent power? Okay, well, we need to go and start at the bottom. You know, we need to get wire. Well, how do you get wire? Well, you need to make a tool that can make the wire. How do you make that tool? You know, just like, I'm being charitable. You might be right. It might be that, you know, this was all supposedly done by low tech means and there's kind of like no way, right? Always makes me think of the Xena Warrior Princess intro. Yes. Such a great show. Okay, can I move any of these? No? What's going on here? These pieces are... Like, why is this piece so huge? Hi. Hello. Everything else was carved so adequately. Some of these, yeah, look like they just got stopped. Yeah, this one needs more carving done to it too. There's a full horse here. I guess it's just like a work in progress, right? You know, we're supposed to see. He wanted chess. This is also ambition too. So this is a good visual storytelling element, and I think I would appreciate this too. As a game designer, sometimes it's the things that you don't write into the script that you don't necessarily have to put in. We've already heard Sirrus say this overtly, so this is kind of like we get it from two angles, where he's like, I would love if this age spontaneously spawned people so I could just have somebody to talk to. And he mentions the stone chip age that did possibly have spontaneous spawning of other living sentient beings. And so he's crafting a chess board, which you can only really play at its full potential with another player. And so him being in a place all alone, you presume he must only be doing this with the thoughts and or hopes that he's got somebody he's going to be able to engage with this particular game. Otherwise, why? Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else over here. Whoops, that might be taking me back the wrong direction. In fairness, I should let you explore more to see what his indigenous resources were. However, I think the flashback Sirrus has made clear that he arrived with basically a backpack, most of which would have been full of 1 month's worth of food. Also, I forgot there's a cutscene here too. That was my bad. And yeah, that's fair. That must make it really challenging to get yourself off the ground running.
What kind of a move is that? You had me, Father. You totally had me.
Eh?
And now you're leaving your queen wide open? Getting the narrow chess pieces out of you was more of a challenge than this.
All right, what the heck is this? Oh, I guess you can go down it. I think this might be one of those windpipes we discussed. Hang on, windpipe. Hang on. We're gonna take a minute before we get involved in that. There's still a little bit more to see out here after all. I'm a little cranky that I almost forgot that it's Stoner Palindrome Day. Oh, it's today! I apologize. It's not my, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not my culture, enculturation. But for those of you that do participate, happy 4/20/2024, or reversed, 4/20/2024. Okay, there's blue crystals here too. Blue crystal test results conclusive. Conclusive. Can we move this? Oh, thank you. Need to supply a keyboard with total electricity gathered in garden and docking station only to disrupt these samples. Okay. Disrupt these samples. Can we move this over to the side and then flip the page?
Lurking in the shadows, Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf.
Thank you for the lurk. Enjoy your pupper time. Tell them hi. Okay, so why can we move this only on this? I mean, yes, it occluded some of the words, but there's more pages over here that I want to read. What I really wanted to do is move that out of the way so I could then lift the sheet. Oh, you can. How do we? Looks like we're lifting 2 sheets though. I want to lift 1. I guess that's impossible. Come here. Oh, it just stays up like that. Okay. Strong earthquake-like tremors in lab when two of harmonies listed in musical chart were played. Could I be close to finding usable frequency? Lab mostly rock. Okay. So, 2 harmonies in the musical chart. Good to know. Back out of there. What about you? What do you have to say? Every partially successful rock test suggests 20 units of power total. No more, no less. But in what combination? Okay. So I have a variable set of 4 from what I could see in the control schema above. And those 4 numbers just need to add up to 20. But we have different ways it can. Must find way of dividing more accurately across 3 cables. Lab mostly rock, living room partially R&B. Nice. Bedroom, trance. I think we're having a thunderstorm outside. It's tripping me out because here's my monitor. Wait, let me put my hand just so. Here's my monitor, and then here is a window. And I keep seeing flashing of light that's not... That I don't know if it's attributed to the game or if that's outside. Hang on, let me check my weather app, like 2 seconds. I'm just curious. Because I love lightning and thunder, I just want to see, is that actually happening right now, or am I tripping? It is, it's happening right now. It is so passing through our area. I have lightning and thunder in game through my headphones, covering my ears so I can't even hear what's happening in the real world. In real world, there's a real thunderstorm. It makes me want to quit stream and just be out in it, but at the same time, we've got a show to perform. Okay, what else do we have here? What else can we... There's lots of different types of wiring. Some screws, some gears. He knows how to put stuff together somehow. What kind of time frame are we looking at? How is he able to do all this in the time that... How long has it been? Those of you who are true mist nerds. Nara, stronger than any other substance, will need all the power keyboard can take. Sorry, all the power a keyboard can take. That's not a good usage of double underline. Will even that be enough? If distributed across all three, with the divide sign there, because 3 arrows doesn't make enough sense unless you put divide and circle the division sign there. And then you have, looks like some briefly scrolled numbers of 4 and 11. And that just says plus. That also says plus up here and a plus over here, so I don't know what that all means. What would 4 and 11... This would have to be a 5 to make it 20 in total. This is all crossed out. None of these add up to 20 anyway. So what is that all about? Interesting. Assuming that Nara is like the same sort of mathematics that we're reading about over here. Or maybe that's not even related. Doesn't that mean that you'll now be sucked into Tron or something like that? If there's covalent inception thunderstorms, perhaps. I guess I'll catch you on the other side. We chatted about that while I was playing 4. Didn't we figure out about 20 years? Okay. 20 years. I think even Miss 4's intro specifies 20 years. Would 20 years be long enough to make a forge, molds for gears? I don't know how you know, to be honest, I don't know how to make wire. I think I would be bad if I was dropped into a random world and said, okay, invent everything from scratch. Oof. That's not a skill set that I've acquired in the course of my life. Oh, like a whole thing of different stones here. The green, the blue. There's a little clear one. That must be the Nara. It's like a rotary phone. Who are we calling right now, guys? Okay, I'll stop. Stop. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything underneath. Looks like there's more this way. What have we got? Just an ominous drop off. Oh, maybe not just. Hi. Oh, that was a big one. That was really close. If I lose power, I lose power. Oh, it shook the whole house. That was a really good one. I love thunderstorms. If I had it my way and I had all constraints removed from my life, 100% sink into like a Van Helsing or Vampire Hunter D aesthetic and like a Gomez Adams mentality. That would be me. That would be how I would define my life. You have to pull metal through smaller and smaller holes. Interesting. How weird. Useful information about Nara is available in canon. Oh, interesting. Like pasta. I didn't know that's how pasta was made either. I'd be horrible at remaking the world's tech if it were all up to me. Do you think Sirrus knows how to make a good pasta? He knows how to make wire. Memory? Yeah, memory.
Commencing rock test number 29. Yes, this should be it. This should be the one.
That did not sound successful to me. Hey, what's up, Shy? Mist with Pepsi Cola and Fruit Choo Choo Dream. Is there a difference between Sierra Mist and 7-Up and Sprite to anybody? Does anybody actually do taste tests on those? I know people have definitive theories on whether Pepsi or Coke tastes better. And if you're in one of those camps, if that's where your tongue is like the happiest, you like can't be converted. There is no going to the other side, as I understand it. I don't know anybody that said, oh yeah, 20 years of my life I drank one cola and then I recently switched and the other one's good too now, or it's better now. You're like ride or die for life, from what I understand. But has anybody ever done that with the clear, with the citrus sodas? So yeah, and I know there's more. There's like at least one more. I'm drawing a blank on the names, but like at least Sprite, 7-Up, and Mist. To me, they all taste the same, but I don't drink them that often. Or at all. We don't have them in the house. They taste different, yes, partially due to the amount of dissolved CO2. Oh, interesting. Tro says Pepsi is better as a mixer, Coke is better alone. I don't know. I've never heard anybody, like all the years I bartended, nobody ever asked for Pepsi plus alcohol. But plenty of people ask for Coke plus alcohol. 7 for cocktails, Sprite alone. Okay. Why? What's the flavor profile difference? Why would one be a better cocktail mixer? I have trouble reading what you've just typed. But something like mug root beer, rooted root beer. People have opinions on root beers too. I don't drink enough root beer to know. Okay, so we know something about diversity of wiring. Let's try the wind tunnel next, because that's what we got to do. Hi, wind tunnel. Zoop. Wish me luck. Oh, it's a cutscene. This looks sharp. Oh, this. Oh. I heard some This is the most agile Mistman has ever had to be. In what previous Mist game would he ever have jumped down a tube with like shards of crystal around the outside of it where you could have definitely cut your butt open? The fact that I don't have a sliced butt right now that I'm holding shut with my hands while it leaks blood. Mistman has taken big action that he never took before. Root beer is good. That's enough. I don't know. I feel like some root beer beats out other root beer, but I haven't tried it all enough to sort of have a strong opinion on the matter. Sam, he chose down. He chose down. I love it. Did you beat the original Mist? Yes. So you are watching me on Twitch. I'm also live on Kick and YouTube. You'll need to watch me live on YouTube, but if you do, I'll be your best friend. But if you go to youtube.com/DamienHalme, you can find in my playlist section the Mist franchise. I, as of 2024, am playing every Mist game for the first time ever. So go there, load up the playlist. You can see me and all of my initial opinions on Mist 1 all the way up through this one. So we started Mist 4 the second we beat Mist 3, and like that's how streaming's going. It's all in a big playlist. You can watch all you want. Yeah. Good stuff. It's actually a carbonation factor, not a flavor profile. Interesting. Flavors are similar, but 7 and Pepsi from a can or a bottle tend to be more carbonated, which helps blend the flavor of the liquor. I'll have to do some taste tests sometime. That's really cool. I've never heard this before. Everett says, I forget if I mentioned this before, but I've heard the argument that the squeaky noise proves that the stranger has actually been naked all along. That little like slide sound of your flesh. Now, so I have 2 littles. I can tell you that that squeaky sound when you're going down a slide can happen with as little as the like crack between your pants or shorts, and then if your t-shirt like rides up while you're going down a slide. It's happened to them. It sucks. You get a little bit of like slide burn sometimes if it squeaks you just the wrong way. Like you get this like break sensation and it's your skin that's doing it. But you don't need to be fully naked. Although I just love the idea of Mistman running through these places naked, period. The only thing I don't love is that you do interact with like all of Atrus's family, and they all seem just like, whoa. Sorry, that so a lightning struck so close and so big, I saw colors. Whoa, that's a really big thunder afterwards too. So this is maybe one of the bigger storms I've been in here since we moved, and I'm still enthralled by thunderstorms. I've not lived in places that were devoid of thunder, like I'm, you know, learning about this for the first time. But Georgia's thunderstorms are particularly wonderful, and that one, that lightning struck, it wasn't just like white flash outside the windows. Like it had some color striation to it, which meant it was close enough to like have the electricity, you know, show like a different, like a subset of hues instead of just one blanket hue. That was impressive. That was just like so cool. I'm such a nerd for this kind of stuff. Anything that's like dark and macabre, but especially thunderstorms. Yeah, my new headcanon, Mistman is naked 100% of the time. Mistman regretted not exploring the worlds in 3 and now is risking life and limbs sliding down sus tubes. I would also watch a YouTube channel or even a rock band called Sus Tubes. That just sounds amazing. Holy rat burn. It's a part of why places like a sidebar what doesn't have a soda gun a lot of time also has better tasting cocktails. Interesting. All right, good to know. If you fart into a syrup of sugar and brown colored caramel, it tastes more like Pepsi and Coke. Shy is like our inherent goblin guest of the night. We don't even have Garrett or Oz here, and we've already got another goblin, full goblin. Okay, what happens if we flip the switch? Boop. Oh, it opened everything. I didn't expect it to actually open. I'm so at this part of like my journey in Myst games that half the time I see just a random switch or button that's just somewhere for you to press or click, my first instinct is it's gonna be a dud, because the game really, what's the word I'm looking for? It conditions you into thinking nothing in Myst works until you make it work. And so it's such a weird shock and awe sensation of like, oh, hey, I flipped this switch to open this door. It just opens the door. That's a thing that just happened. We've opened the door. Whereas it's like almost everything else is like a puzzle. I mean, it's a puzzle game, but still. Okay, so what do we do? Are we supposed to do something with the cables? Oh, the cables go up this whole thing. Okay, so we have to learn and maybe watch and see. These cables are rendered in a fashion that it looks like you could actually pay attention to which one's which all the way up, because they've got these color codings too, and you can see their whole path all the way up. So what we probably want to do is go to where they originate and figure out how we're supposed to wire them to ultimately feed the console that's up there with the floating stone. Something like that. So this one also has a single cable that goes into this creepy chair. Not sure what we're supposed to do with that. And then there's also those people with the whole that